It's time to return to the old ways. Welcome. Today I'm going to... What the hell is that?
Lord, why have you forsaken me?
Bro, this ain't your video. You need to get the hell out of here.
Oi! Get this weedy git out of here! Me and the boys is ready to crump.
Yeah, I agree. For Gorkham Ork! With that out of the way, today I'm going to walk you through a simple kit bashing conversion to turn your Savage Orruks, with the help of the classic Ork Boyz kit, the old one, not the new one, to create some Ork Boy troops for your Snakebite army. Because we all know the old ways are the best ways. So, let's get straight into it. Starting out, we're going to get ready to fit these two kits together. And to do that, we're going to have to do some modifications. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove one of these arms from one of the Savage Ork torsos. I score a line with my hobby knife, which is obviously in great repair, and then remove the rest of the arm with a hobby saw. It makes a fairly clean cut. Jump to try fitting the arms from the Ork Boyz kit. Apply a little plastic glue. Get the arm in place with my lovely manicured hands and totally not blurry camera. May have to slide it around a bit to find the right position. Fit the opposite arm. This one is from the actual Snakebite kit, I believe. Oh, nope, that's an Ork Boy kit arm. Notice we have a big gap in the lat back there, which we're going to fill in with green stuff. But Savage Boys don't have any sluggers or shooters, so let's steal some from the Ork Boyz kit. Very simple. Lop the hand off at the wrist, like Ash in Evil Dead. Use your high quality hobby knife to clean stuff up. Apply a little plastic glue once again to the outstretched arm. And through the wonders of chemical technology, it is now joined as one solid piece of plastic. As aforementioned, I'm super professional, so of course I forgot to film. Well, didn't forget to film. The camera wasn't on when I was doing the green stuff. And you'll also notice the highly professional theme. You can see I recorded the screen instead of just activating the camera. But here are the results from adding green stuff to the gaps in the back of the lats. This fella right here has a slugger that's actually a chopped down shooter, because I didn't have enough sluggers for all the boys in the kit. Again here, another chopped down shooter to slugger conversion. Just took the razor saw and removed some. And this cheeky lad decided that he would just abscond with a holy bolter as his slugger. Time to drill, baby, drill. Take your hobby drill and just try and get it nice and centered if you can. They're ork guns. If they're a little off center, it's no big deal. Look at this high-calorie human in his super professional airbrush box. He's an idiot. He doesn't have any protection from fumes. Don't be this guy. Get it set up, and we're ready to prime. Prime, you say? Make sure you shake your primer well. I'm just using some black gesso Liquitex that I mixed with some flow improver to run through the airbrush. I haven't had any problems using this to get a nice quality prime on these models to get paint purchase. So we'll load it up and let her rip. The first step is to apply the black primer. And then after this, to get a little zenithal effect, I use a Liquitex white acrylic ink. After your zenithal, your model should look something like this. But you could just go with straight white, like a Wraithbone, or maybe even if you want to go with like a Gracie or something. But the first paint we're applying is Citadel Color Contrast Ork Flesh. It's a pretty forgiving paint. These are just for tabletop quality minis. So use your brush, move the paint around, and it should kind of mimic natural highlights and shadows as you go through and apply the paint. Try to be careful and not overspill onto areas you don't want to be green at this point. As you progress, you should end up looking something like this. An Ork Boy pretty much green. You may have to reach into some nooks and crannies to get all the areas that actually should be green. Some people like to do sub-assemblies for this, but since these guys are just going to be for the tabletop, I'm painting the fully assembled model. Also, I'm a bit of an idiot. Next up, let's do the leather bits. The leather bits were going to be Citadel Color Contrast Garagax Sewer. It's a pretty nice dark brown. So much like the Ork Flesh, just pick out the spots that you want to be leather, but it could be really any paint. As we progress through, you should end up looking something like this. As we finish off these last few leather bits on the model. Next up, let's make those guns metal. This is Citadel Color Base Lead Belcher, which honestly is probably my favorite paint in the entire GW line. Don't need to be too fancy, just make sure you get coverage on all the bits that you want to be metal. But these shooters need to look rusty, so we're using a little Vallejo Model Wash for rust effects. In this case, we're applying it liberally to his choppa, making sure we hit both sides and try and smooth it out a bit as we go through. Get the top of the blade as well. And then move on to the slugger. Once it's all rusty, you need some nice shiny teeth. So let's apply some Proacryl Titanium White to his teeth. Since you've got other stuff painted around this, try and be careful as you apply this paint. I've got the brush control of Michael J. Fox. No shade, that guy is a national treasure. Next up, we're going to paint the hair. You can pick any color you want, but this is just Flesh Terror's red. Again, Citadel Color Contrast line. Then we're going to paint the eyes, again with Flesh Terror's red, because orcs need red eyes, right? What's the general consensus here? I'm not sure. You know, the last orc I saw had red eyes. 99% sure. I read that somewhere on the internet. I think Abraham Lincoln said it. but his pearly whites are a bit too pearly white for a Savage Ork boy or a Snakebite. So now we're going to add Citadel color, shade, Seraphim Sepia. I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of toothbrushes for these mushroom men. And we're going to apply a little bit of Seraphim Sepia to his little horn bits on his back as well, just to provide a little contrast. Last thing we need to do is the bases, so we're going to apply some Vallejo Thick Mud using your sculpting tool of your choice. Once that dries, we're going to apply a dry brush of Pro Acro Titanium White. And now, a message from our sponsor. And don't forget that ever-satisfying rim paint. I like to apply a nice black rim to most of my models, just to keep it uniform. Oh, you're still here. I'm surprised. If you've liked what you've seen so far and would like to see more of Project Snakebite as it progresses, please consider giving this channel the good old thumbs up for Gork and Mork, and possibly subscribing so you don't miss any of the videos in this series. But that's enough waffling. Why don't we get down to how the old ways apply to the boys, and let's get ready to war. Oh man. Sorry, I blacked out for a second. Let's look at these models.